some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of like, there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way.
You're seeing this, not just waste. You could call it waste, but it's deeper. It's deeper than waste. It's corruption. And you're seeing that corruption get weeded out. I am hoping that this is successful and that it yields a benefit to the American people, to the working class people, to everybody, where they recognize, like, hey, we can't just be spending all our tax money on nonsense.
The drama that's been brewing on The View for years has finally boiled over in the most spectacular way imaginable. What started as a typical talk show has now turned into a catastrophic media meltdown that no one saw coming. It's official. The View has been shut down. But how did we get here? Well, hold on to your seats, because this story is a wild one. For years, the hosts have been known for their unfiltered, no-holds-barred opinions. But now, their reckless behavior has come back to bite them in a major way. 30-plus defamation lawsuits, including some filed by some of the biggest names in the business, have sent shockwaves through the media world. The once popular daytime talk show is now facing an existential crisis, and it's all because of the way the hosts have handled themselves on air. The lawsuits are not just a slap on the wrist either. These legal battles are massive. From powerful billionaires to beloved country stars, The View has managed to tick off just about everyone in the spotlight. And now, those stars are fighting back with lawsuits that could have disastrous consequences for the show and its network. There's no turning back now. The pressure is mounting, and the lawsuits are piling up faster than anyone could have predicted. The hosts thought they could get away with their constant shade-throwing and off-the-cuff remarks, but the backlash has been more than they ever bargained for. It all started innocently enough. The ladies of The View have always been known for their candid conversations, but things took a darker turn as the years went by.
Country superstar Carrie Underwood has spent most of her career avoiding political talk, but she's set to perform at the upcoming inauguration. She said in a statement that she's doing it because the country must come together in the spirit of unity and look to the future. And lots of her fans aren't thrilled about it, but lots of her fans are.
And I would not be the person to say don't do it, because I believe in free speech and everything about it. I personally would not do it. No one's asked me, but that's another story.
Hostile remarks, personal attacks, and wild accusations became a regular feature of the show, and it seemed like nothing could stop the chaos. But now, it's clear that the line has been crossed, and the fallout is nothing short of catastrophic. By the time the defamation lawsuits started piling up, ABC executives were already in a panic. They thought the show could weather the storm, but this time, it's different. The lawsuits are more serious than anyone expected, and they're starting to take a major toll on the show's future. Do you think it's over for The View? Are the hosts finally going to face the consequences for their reckless words? Keep reading to find out what happens next. The first sign of real trouble came when Elon Musk's legal team got involved. Whoopi Goldberg, in one of her typical off-the-cuff remarks, mocked Musk's son, X, and made a joke at his expense on national TV. It was meant to be harmless, but Musk didn't take it lightly. In fact, he clapped back with a massive $900 million defamation lawsuit, and he didn't hold back. This wasn't just some angry tweet. Musk came prepared with receipts, emails, evidence, and claims that Whoopi had secret media ties trying to ruin his reputation. Musk wasn't playing around, and this lawsuit was just the beginning. One lawsuit quickly turned into a chain reaction as more celebrities started stepping up to hold The View, accountable for its unchecked comments. Carrie Underwood was next in line after Whoopi made unfounded accusations about her involvement in shady business practices. Underwood may be known for her sweet, wholesome image, but she wasn't about to let Whoopi's false claims slide. She filed her own defamation lawsuit against the show, claiming that her reputation had been damaged, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Underwood wasn't just upset about being slandered. She was losing major endorsement deals, and her career was in jeopardy because of the lies Whoopi told on air. This lawsuit was worth millions, and it sent The View reeling.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be.
So if he's sending all the criminals away, where is he going?
How could the show survive a battle with one of the most powerful women in country music? It didn't stop there, though. Next, the Trump family decided they had enough of The View and its constant attacks. Donald Trump, Ivanka, and even Eric Trump got in on the action, launching their own defamation lawsuits against the show. They claimed that Whoopi and her co-hosts had been engaging in a targeted smear campaign for years, spreading baseless accusations and malicious lies about the family. Enough was enough, and the lawsuits kept coming. It seemed like every celebrity who had ever been mocked or attacked by the hosts was now lining up to take them to court. Joe Rogan, known for his blunt commentary and massive podcast following, jumped into the fray. He filed his own defamation suit after Whoopi aired a false segment about him and his show, causing him to lose sponsorships. This was no longer a battle between the hosts and a few disgruntled viewers. This was a full-blown legal war with some of the most powerful figures. The Trump family wasn't taking any chances. They hit the network with a massive legal challenge, accusing the hosts of intentionally damaging their reputation without any concrete evidence. This lawsuit was a game-changer. The View was no longer just a daytime talk show, it was now the focal point of a media war.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail.
In media and entertainment on the other side, the stakes had never been higher. The lawsuits were stacking up at an alarming rate, and the damage to The View's reputation was irreversible. As the legal battles intensified, advertisers began pulling their support from the show. It was like a stampede, with one major sponsor after another cutting ties, unwilling to be associated with the mounting scandal. And without those lucrative advertising deals, the show's financial future was hanging by a thread. Behind the scenes, the pressure was unbearable. ABC executives were holding emergency meetings to figure out how to save the show. Lawyers and crisis managers were brought in at a frantic pace, but it was clear that the situation was spiraling out of control. The View had gone from being a daytime talk show sensation to a public relations nightmare in the blink of an eye. To make matters worse, the leaks started. Former producers and staff members, afraid for their own jobs, began spilling the beans to the media. The chaos behind the scenes was now public knowledge, and it wasn't pretty. ABC was scrambling to contain the damage, but it was like trying to put out a wildfire with a garden hose. The lawsuit documents kept flooding in, each one more damning than the last. Every episode of The View was now being reviewed by legal teams, dissected for any potential defamatory statements. It seemed like the show had crossed a line and there was no going back. As the lawsuits continued to mount, ABC's legal team found themselves overwhelmed.
Really important because they keep pretending that I lied or I did this or I did that. They never committed to doing it.
Well,
we went through, I've got a whole, we have all the receipts, by the way.
Of course.
I have a whole list of conversations that took place. They never said she was going to do it. So this whole idea that we over and then we over for Trump, incorrect, just not true.
There was no way they could keep up with the growing tide of legal action, and the financial costs were mounting faster than anyone could have imagined. The network was on the verge of a full-scale meltdown, and there was no telling how much worse it would get. The writing was on the wall. ABC could no longer ignore the damage that The View had caused, both to its reputation and its bottom line. The sponsors were fleeing, the viewers were outraged, and the lawsuits just kept coming. Something had to give, and it did. In an unprecedented move, ABC announced the suspension of The View. No more taping, no more live shows, just silence. The show that had once been a staple of daytime TV was now on indefinite hold. The future of The View was officially up in the air. But the story didn't end there. Whoopi Goldberg, once a beloved Hollywood legend, found herself at the center of the storm. Sources say that her massive contract with ABC was now under intense review. Insiders say she's on the verge of being fired outright. Her reputation had taken a serious hit, and the legal mess surrounding her wasn't helping. Meanwhile, Joy Behar, one of the longest-serving hosts, was also in panic mode. She was no longer just a part of the drama, she was now directly involved in multiple lawsuits, each one more serious than the last. Her silence in public was deafening, and insiders say she's doing everything she can to protect herself from the growing legal firestorm. But perhaps the most surprising twist of all was that even Sunny Hostin, known for her calm demeanor, was reportedly in deep trouble. Though she had been quiet on social media and behind the scenes, sources say that she was quietly preparing for a legal showdown of her own. The pressure was mounting, and it seemed like no one was safe from the fallout. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, the show's executive producer resigned without warning.
You know, when you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't. And I should have said cheated, and I used another word, and I'm really, really sorry.
No statement, no explanation, just a sudden departure in the middle of the crisis. This move sent shockwaves through the network, and insiders were already speculating about the future of the show. ABC was in crisis mode, with its legal department working around the clock to assess the damage and try to put out the flames. But the financial burden was massive, and the reputation of The View had been irreparably damaged. The network was facing a potential PR disaster of unprecedented proportions. As The View's legal troubles continue to spiral, new reports have surfaced that could make everything even worse. Insiders have whispered that ABC executives are secretly considering a complete overhaul, one that could involve firing the entire current panel. The buzz around the industry is that the network is looking for fresh faces, new hosts who aren't as politically charged, aren't as divisive, and, most importantly, don't bring the kind of drama that has now become synonymous with The View. But could The View even survive without its fiery, outspoken hosts? There's also talk that a certain A-list celebrity could be the next big name to join the show. Could it be an attempt to salvage the wreckage left behind by years of controversy?
She says, I love our country. How do you love your country and support and normalize somebody who was a convicted felon who really wants to destroy the country, in my opinion? I don't understand how you say you love your country at the same time as you normalize this convicted felon.
Some insiders are predicting that The View might even pull a Dr. Phil-style rebranding, going with a new, safe format to draw in viewers again. But would anyone tune in to The View if it's stripped of its edge? The drama, the fierce debates, and the chaos were the exact things that made it so captivating. Now, however, the ratings have dropped, and with no end in sight to the legal battle, The View's future is hanging by a thread. This has become more than just a talk show controversy. It's a complete cultural moment, with every lawsuit and every legal decision making waves far beyond TV. The network might be facing irreparable damage, and with the show's core audience now questioning the legitimacy of everything the hosts have ever said, the clock is ticking. If ABC does decide to cancel The View entirely, it's unclear what kind of replacement could fill the massive hole left by the show. In a world where celebrity scandals and lawsuits can end careers, it's starting to feel like The View might be the ultimate cautionary tale of what happens when unchecked opinions are given too much power. One thing is for sure, this isn't just a scandal, it's a complete shift in how we'll view talk shows moving forward. As the dust settles, we can only wait to see who will emerge victorious from this lawsuit battle, and who will be left standing after the wreckage. Whether the show gets canceled or rebranded, one thing is certain: The View will never be the same again. The public's trust in the show had been shattered, and social media was in full-on meltdown mode. Fans of the show were outraged, and calls for accountability were louder than ever. Viewers who once tuned in daily to watch the show were now calling for its complete cancellation. As the lawsuits continued to pile up, ABC executives were left with no choice but to reconsider their entire strategy. Could The View be salvaged? Or was this the end of the line for the once popular talk show? The network's reputation was on the line, and no one knew how it was going to end. Now, with The View in its final days, the question remains: was this the inevitable downfall of a once great show, or is this just the beginning of something much bigger? The drama surrounding the hosts has been like nothing we've ever seen before, and only time will tell how it all plays out.
If you like this video, so don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon and give your precious reviews in the comment section below.